I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Itsquel, Siam Nasiea, Itsqualawan, Quanasilam Nala. I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the lands of the Hulkaminam speaking people, specifically the Quamitsan village. The Board of Education is honored to be able to collaboratively walk beside the Cowichan, Malahat, Subasit, Halalt, Penelakut, Stamenas, and Layaxan peoples who have cared for this land for thousands of years. May we walk gently on the unceded territories of their lands as we work together to lift up all the Hahaspana. Adoption of the agenda. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda. Moved by Trustee Doman, seconded by Trustee Lise. All those in favor? Thank you, folks. Minutes of the September 2nd, 2025 open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Strachan, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you. Minutes of the September 25th special open board meeting. Moved by Trustee Doman, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Recognitions and delegations. So tonight the Board of Education would like to acknowledge Dave Mason, Kathy Gale, Danielle Rankin, Tammy McMahon, and Gail Caverly, who are the winners of the Cowichan Valley School District Siam Tai Recognition Program, established to celebrate and honor the important work within our school communities by staff and all who make a difference in our organization. Siam Tai, which means people who make things right in Hulkaminam, recognizes those who go above and beyond. In May 2024, the school district launched its Siam Tai Recognition Program. This past spring, colleagues and supervisors submitted nominations to recognize exceptional work being done throughout the district in 4 separate categories: learning, Indigenous ways of knowing, individual and collective well-being, and caring for place. Tonight, we are pleased to acknowledge these category winners for all the hard work that they do in our district and for the positive impact on our students and community. I am pleased to share some amazing and kind words that were shared by their nominators. Caring for place. Dave, a teacher at Quamachan School. Dave is a kind and thoughtful teacher that connects so well with all the students at Quamachan. He has stepped right up to the plate, often going above and beyond. He has been a rugby coach. He started as a teacher band that performs at assemblies. He does lunchtime tutoring. He volunteers where needed, and Dave has started 2 Indigenous focus clubs at lunchtime, Zikwa dancing and drumming and singing. Dave makes his own worksheets to ensure his classes have Indigenous-centered curriculum and content. He frequently calls home to families after school to check in, inquire about attendance, and see if anyone needs support. He is truly a master in his trade and deserves this nomination. Thank you for all that you do for this. Next, we have Kathy, a teacher at Chemainus. Kathy takes the lead at the school and very often will open our meetings in a good way with land acknowledgements. Kathy has her class often greet and speak Hulkaminam, most of whom do it in a very natural way. Kathy is never rushed and always makes time for her students and their emotional needs first. Kathy always seeks connections to Coast Salish teachings as she works her way through curriculum. Kathy is an amazing role model for other staff and deserves this nomination. Danielle has been working tirelessly with our Indigenous students in the district. Her work goes above and beyond, specifically supporting Indigenous students by supporting Hulkaminam vocabulary, programming communication devices for nonverbal students with autism, and supporting Indigenous ways of learning through in-class speech and language programming with the Indigenous Education Department. Danielle supports students and their families by taking students on her caseload to appointments when needed. She advocates for the well-being of students through finding alternative funding supports for medical appointments and takes the time to support families' understandings of the results. Danielle is an integral part and a team member for our Indigenous students and helps support their individual and collective well-being. Tammy is the heart of Chemainus. All students and parents know her well. Tammy knows the history of students and families, which is invaluable information for all. Tammy gives much of her own time to support programs, such as volunteering to assist the grade 6 at year-end camp, helping them with the Ready, Set, Learn to meet all new students and families. Tammy helps coordinate book fairs, spring sales, clothing for kids, hampers, and other initiatives that help our community. Her consistent presence with warm manner help promote a healthy community. We are happy to have her at Chemainus. And I'd also like to acknowledge Gail, even though Gail couldn't be here tonight. Gail has admirable dedication to learners who require the greatest supports. She provides personal care with the utmost dignity and will find solutions to any barriers that may be in a student's way. She is a creative and considerate and ensures inclusion to the best of her ability. She is a quick, determined learner who is consistent with the implementation of student skill development. Gail is a team player and an asset to any school community. Gail is usually the first one on the job and the last one to leave. She frequently covers out-of-school care programs when needed and carries out light lunch duties to make sure that students have something to eat. She can always be counted on. She is a colleague who will lend a helping hand in any way possible, and our colleagues are so very grateful for her generosity. We are proud to have been able to call her a mentor and a colleague. So, for everything you do for our Hahasmanam. The board congratulates you all, and we're pleased to present you all with those certificates, so thank you.
That happened. Sorry.
Oh. I went blind, did it? Thanks, folks. Carry on with that? Oh, I guess not. All right, Mr. Sackquist, 6.1, please.
Thank you. The board met in closed session just prior to this open. They concluded their business. They had personnel, property, legal, and policy matters on the agenda.
Thank you. Action list, 7.1. Looks like the only one we have here, Mr. Rowan, was response to the unexpected health emergency policy, and that is still in progress? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Sackquist?
Just follow up, we're expecting on the procurement of the AED devices to have something from the ministry this week. I understand there's communication.
Mr. Sackquist. Moving on. Superintendent of Schools, 8.1.1, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, turn your attention to page 23 of your agenda package. Principal, vice principal assignments, and on page 23, you'll note All of the assignments as of September 26, 2025, with one addition, and that is a position at the Grove. Temporary vice principal to the Grove / Open Learning, Annika Nussbaum, has been appointed temporary vice principal of the Grove Open Learning Center effective September 2026, and we welcome Annika to her new position.
8.2.1.
8.2.1 is Assistant Superintendent Rowan who will be speaking to the operational plan.
So our, can we come up there?
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Thanks, board. I wanted to have a follow-up chance to speak to the operational plan. We have, as we mentioned last week, we've submitted our district framework for enhancing student learning to the ministry. That's our accountability framework. That is being submitted, and we are awaiting feedback in the coming months on that. The operational plan is how we are going to action the board's goals from the strategic plan. So in our strategic plan, our goals of learning, Indigenous ways of knowing, well-being, and care for place. Each of the goals in the strategic, there's 2 goals, and we have 2 actions for each of those 4 goals. So we'll have 16 action items in the operational plan that, as we go through our year, we'll be measuring and reporting back to the board on how we're doing. Most of the responsibility for those lies with our district staff team, our district principals, Mrs. Superintendent Reynolds, Superintendent Davey, and myself. And so we've just started. We meet on Fridays every second week to go over status and how we're doing for each of those items.
Trustees, any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. 8.2.2.
Thank you. 2.2, Every Child Matters Week and National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. So I will start us off, and then District Principal Mary Peter will speak to Every Child Matters Week. I just want to start off by recognizing the great work from the organizing committee for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And also just recognize the number of staff and trustees that were in attendance at the event, representing both themselves, their families, but also, most importantly, for us, the school district. So we had a lot of attendees in the March Madness. Thank you. And Mary, I turn to you.
Okay, thank you. Aitsquale Mutwit. Good day, everyone. I've got some pictures, but not all of them. So a lot of them will be just talking through the notes I received from the principals. So Every Child Matters Week, September 29th to October 3rd. And I just asked principals to give me a synopsis of some of the activities. So I'm just going to go over them, not line by line, but just give you an overview. And I'll be handing this to Claire afterwards to put in the minutes. So at Alex Aiken, they of course wore their orange shirts proudly all week up to September 30th. And in the morning announcements, deepening understanding about what Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation was all about. The class did some land and connecting with nature with Yamnits and the Gary Oak Preserve. The older students in the school learned more about Truth and Reconciliation, had class discussions about empathy and belonging. There was lots of art and discussion around the symbolism and the importance of a feather, sharing circle, ways to be kind, and discussion around Phyllis's story, the orange shirt. Alexander had a school-wide assembly on September 29th, and teachers developed lessons with the Orange Shirt Day and the significance. There was book bundle resources in the library that teachers could choose from. And then they went out spearfishing, which is, here's the slide right here. So the school was able to go out and some children experience that amazing day. And you can tell by the smiles on their face that they really enjoyed the day and just being able to experience spearfishing, some of them. Chemainus Elementary. Actually, I'm going to come back to that one, so remind me. Chemainus Secondary. Where they had just a smorgasbord of salmon, and they were able to have the students and staff involved with sharing a full day of learning at Chemainus Secondary. So a school-wide celebration. They did storytelling, reflection. They had Indigenous community members, elders from Penelakut and surrounding areas. They got involved in Métis jigging and dot painting, as well as beading and knitting, traditional foods, fried bread making, lacrosse, bone games, storytelling, watching the films on Zuhalem and Cowichan, and a plant walk. This meaningful day fostered respect, understanding, and connection between our school community and the rich Indigenous cultures that shape our region. Chemainus Secondary remains committed to ongoing learning and reconciliation through authentic relationships with local Indigenous communities. So that they brought members from their community in to that space. And Crofton Elementary, every class has been doing learning around Orange Shirt Day, reading stories and sharing lessons. They had the Salish art, the Coast Salish weave spread throughout their school, and they were able to do art lessons through that for weeks over the past few weeks in September, and wearing orange shirts on Monday. At Discovery, they were honoring Every Child Matters with a number of activities, with a whole school welcoming circle, and then a number of activities with art, orange hearts put up, and then this is their third year of doing the project, and what they felt that with the community project going on year after year, they love to keep that display up all year long. It helps them remember, keep remembering what reconciliation is all about. École Mount Provost did Orange Shirt all week and focused on the monthly teachings for the family is the heart of life, the lesson of sharing circle about Orange Shirt Day, reconciliation, moving forward in a positive way, doing different art projects on Coast Salish design, and watching La Cour Orange with Phyllis Webstead and Jared Williams, a local all-star with Swookus, and learning about great food. Kindergarten read Monique Gray Smith's book, Nous sommes gentils, and designed kindness buttons. One of the intermediate classes did a unit on what is reconciliation, and then having a bulletin board with what brings them hope or comfort and safety. And they were all looking carefully at their word choice for that. And I also have Frances Kelsey. The peer counseling classes and leadership students were involved in organizing events for Frances Kelsey. And they had a whole school announcement to give context for the week. Orange shirts were worn. There was a video at the whole school watched on reconciliation, and had an opportunity to write messages of reconciliation. And then Every Child Matters, a banner in the Dome, and a station on Wednesday to Friday to write messages for Orange Shirt. At Coheman, the HEWOC installed their ribbon garlands along the front fence. Classes individually talking about Every Child Matters and cresting bulletin boards expressing how every child matters and what it involves to be part of a school community. They had strong conversations in the language and culture classes, as well as in classrooms about not truth and reconciliation, but truth and reconciliation. As a staff and school community, they spoke about the needs for more than a one-day event. So having that, acknowledging that every child matters all week, but also all year, and coming together as a community for a barbecue, changing the culture in the school over time. And it's not just about the day, but the practices and teachings of in the classrooms. And not just an event put on by the Indigenous department, but it's all inclusive. Lake Cowichan as well had an amazing day. They had Elder sharing her fry bread making skills, and there were just, again, the day was titled Kachsquale to Snowaya Gathering, a day of teachings. And that was on Friday, September 26th. And they had a number of activities going on where they had a traditional foods feast, and then the students came together for the meal. Not only did they have the traditional feast, but they had Nourish Cowichan as well. They had the Young Wolves Dance Group from Sabinas, and students decorated feathers and also did Métis drawings with the dot painting. I need to go back to Chemainus, and the next one, Chemainus, I did show that one, but I talked about it, right? Okay. So the Kachsquale to Snowaya Gathering at Chemainus Secondary School, you can see they had their Métis guests, someone cooking delicious food, and had the dancing, the performance by Zingqua. And then they had a taste of the sea with the clams and oysters. And then Chemainus Elementary, I did talk about that, but I wanted to end with the video, but I'm not going to go into that yet, because I didn't talk about Maple Bay yet, did I? Okay, I'm almost finished. Lots of really good information shared by the schools, and obviously a lot of work went into planning and having the students involved in community. So with Maple Bay Elementary, Orange Shirt Day assembly with the whole school, weaving the whole school, tying orange ribbons on the fence, and stories and artwork in individual classes. Mill Bay did Every Child Matters Week, and they had a circle gathering, and then they read Walking Together and a song led by the grade 1-2 class, a display case, art and culture with artifacts, and on Tuesday shared with our families the truth and reconciliation events that were happening in Duncan, like what Tim mentioned, where people gathered, and I was there too. And on the 30th, I can't imagine how many people were there. I'm not sure if anybody counted, but Just seeing the people and just being so involved in what was happening there was great to see. They ended their week with having a land-based learning day and focusing on land teaches and connects us on how we care for it and keep us connected. At Paulson, they were reading many wonderful books to tell the story of Orange Shirt Day to the primary students, different art activities in the classroom, and then I had received something from the Gulf Island School. Quentin Harris works there, and he sent this beautiful mural that I send out to the schools, and Paulson printed that off, and they were going to have their students, so it'd be good to see when they're done, the mural, because it's actually pages, and they color parts of it. So I wanted to end with this. Now, how do I play it? Yes. Yeah. Right there. It's only a minute long. Every child matters. I think.
Thank you, Mary. Trustee Croft.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Mary, nothing in that category ever seems too long. Thank you for all those sharings.
Yes, thanks so much. It's a wonderful postscript to Truth Reconciliation Day as well, to get a report back like that. So thank you so much. Is it possible to have the report up on the website? Because it's so rich, you know, what the schools are doing in terms of Every Child Matters Week, and it would be great for either parents or members of the public who come to the website to see the incredible amount of work that happens every time amongst the schools in the district. Is it possible to get the report up on the website and somewhere?
Secretary Schrader, are you?
Yes.
Yes, that will be.
Wonderful. Okay, next item here, World Teachers Day, October 5th, and so last week, World Teacher Day was acknowledged across the district last week, recognizing professionalism and commitment of teachers and support staff, all staff throughout the district. As October 5th fell on a Sunday, trustees and senior staff made deliveries to all sites in the district to honor the day on Thursday, October 2nd. Next item, National Principals Month, month of October. The board chair and superintendent plan to recognize our recognition of National Principals Month, and last week principals and vice principals were thanked for their outstanding leadership in schools for students, staff, and parents in the community. And at our staff meeting on behalf of the board, there was a cake presentation and also some banner additions to share. So thank you for that. World Food Day. We have a presenter here, and so District Principal Ann Kissinger is going to speak to World Food Day, which is on October 16th. Steal your thunder. Yeah, I know, that was it. Pretty sweet, thank you.
Noticing people are sitting now to present? Yes?
Do whatever's comfortable for yourself, Anne.
I need to stand if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So yes, I get to present on World Food Day and also its connection to Nourish Couch. And Morris, am I just toggling this side?
You got it.
Right there. So World Food Day has been observed since 1981, and it is observed in over 150 countries. And the theme this year for World Food Day is envisioning a food secure and sustainable future. Bringing it a little bit closer to home also allows us to look at the good work that has been done and the partnership that has been done with the Cowichan Valley School District and Nourish Cowichan. Talking to Fatima, you will know she is incredibly excited that this is its 9th year. Next year is the 10th year, so big celebrations are upon us. And so they've been working with the Cowichan Valley School District since 2016. They're currently serving over 2,000 students and kids daily. Weekend food bags are going home in the number of 400 to 500. And it's exciting to know that all 23 schools across the school district are supported by Nourish Cowichan. There's a lot of exciting initiatives that are happening with Nourish Cowichan and the Cowichan Valley School District. In partnership with the Careers Department, approximately 300 students from Cowichan Secondary are having experiential learning opportunities up at Nourish Cowichan. So there are volunteer opportunities, there are students from culinary classes, there are students from employment skills, there are students from social justice having an opportunity to gain skills in a working kitchen that comes back and supports our students. There is also an active student advisory council, and this year they're partnering with UVic and they're exploring a report on nutrition biases, stigma, that might be preventing families and students from accessing, and what improvements can be made to Nourish Cowichan. So pretty exciting that UVic is involved in that as well. And then last year, I know that there was a lot of big excitement around the donation of a mobile pantry. And so Nourish Cowichan is piloting a project of bringing their mobile pantry to Lake Cowichan, Paulson area, and offering families the option of perishable food items such as dairy, fruits and veggies, and meats. So more to report at a later time, but we'll see how that goes. And then on that sustainability piece, working with Nourish Cowichan right now to return single-use plastics. So there's a lot of milk containers going out to schools. So we are working with Nourish Cowichan and our schools to have them returned to Nourish Cowichan. They will do the proper recycling, and a bonus is they also get to recapture the deposit dollars from that as well. So it's nice to see that we're building a plan to get some of those single-use containers back. Another very exciting initiative that is happening, and it's in collaboration with VIU Culinary Program, that we're going to be piloting a salad bar at Cowichan Secondary. Conversations happening tomorrow. I believe the salad bar arrived today. Lots of work to figure out the nuts and bolts of that, but pretty exciting to offer fresh foods and whatnot at the school. Some of the there we go. Some of the infrastructure and staffing related to the work that's been done in the years past on securing refrigerators and freezers for all the schools. And there's conversations this year around looking at prep tables for schools and ways to heat up foods in a quicker way. Feeding Futures. This year, each school has received 1 additional hour of EA support each day to help support getting the Nourish Cowichan food out. And Nourish Cowichan still employs a CEO, a manager, a chef, and a program assistant. As you all know, there's lots and lots of community connections with Nourish Cowichan. There it is. Currently, there's over 80 volunteers who are doing things from food prep, deliveries, they're driving to schools, they're going to be running the mobile pantry. A portion of the BC Feeding Futures grant and the federal grant from the school district also goes to Nourish Cowichan. And as you know, as a community, Nourish Cowichan is something that's been embraced across the community, and businesses are supporting it, fundraising events, and individual donations all the time. When Jeff and I were up there in September, we were hearing about local farmers bringing additional crops in, or grocery stores that accidentally purchased American blueberries and they knew their customers wouldn't buy them, and so donating them to Nourish Cowichan. So just lots of opportunities that the community is connecting with Nourish Cowichan and giving back to the students of the Cowichan Valley School District.
Any questions for Anne, folks? None? Thank you, Anne.
Next item here is World Health Day, and Tammy Renier is going to present on the World Health Day.
So World Health Day is October 10th, and it's an opportunity to recognize how important it is for us to be thinking about and supporting mental health. I appreciated the line that they have on their website that there's no health without mental health, and so how are we doing that work? And I think, so it's right click.
Use this one.
Ahead of my transition. Okay, thinking about it. So I don't have to tell folks here that one of our priorities through the strategic plan is individual and collective well-being, and although it's World Mental Health Day on the 10th, this is something that's embedded in the work that we do every day in the school district. When we look at how we action the work, it comes back to some of the pieces that Jeff shared earlier. When we look at our operational plan, individual and collective well-being is an aspect of that work, and we have specific goals that we're working towards as a district in terms of supporting our staff and students. So when we look at connecting to our work, some of the ways that we're doing that, the non-instructional days, so in November, that will be our focus on mental health that day. Also through professional development opportunities, we're always weaving that opportunity around thinking about that individual and collective well-being through a variety of CODI opportunities. One of the things that we have focused on in our operational plan is around supporting our PHE teachers, so the physical health education teachers specifically in grade 10. Last year we started by doing workshops with them to really look at the health aspect of that curriculum. We noticed that some folks weren't feeling as confident in different parts of that curriculum, and we wanted to make sure that we were supporting that work so that every student had equitable access to those learning outcomes. As a district, we are piloting, and we're in year 2 of a resource that the ministry supports called Open Parachute, and that's an exciting opportunity to provide, again, an equitable resource across schools. And so we've been working hard to support the delivery and implementation, and that will be connected to our non-instructional day. I always have Darlene in my mind when we're thinking about how we're doing the work. We're not doing new things, we're layering strategically, so that we aren't shifting the work that we're doing, we're just gently adding to things that we notice in terms of gaps. So that brings us to our identity, belonging, and health framework. That's an amazing document that still guides the work. This year we're looking at, are there some additional resources that we can include just to refresh it and update it. Again, looking at mental health plans at schools. Every school has a mental health plan. We'll be looking at revising our surveys and questions and getting that information back out to staff, students, and families so that we can look at refreshing our mental health plans as well. And I'm excited that we have a district leadership PVP team focusing on mental health, and they'll be coming alongside our Open Parachute team as we continue to look at kind of sharing the work and having everyone take a part of moving the work forward in a strategic way. When we look at connecting to our schools, there are a ton of resources coming from a variety of places in the province right now. One of the challenges is getting everything together. So we do have a new Teams drive that we've set up where we're pulling all of the information that's coming and setting it up so that principals and vice principals have a one-stop shop to get the resources that they need. So this just shares some of the work around Open Parachute, some of the district or the provincial work with Language Matters. And then ICY is our integrated child and youth care team that's going into like really our first full year with our district having all of our staff in place. And so that team is also connecting with schools, and we're excited because we're going to be connecting with families as well. So when we get to families, within our ICY framework, there's the thing that you can see in the top corner. I know it's hard to read, but coffee and connection and community events. Part of our ICY team is a family smart peer support worker. And Kim is providing drop-in sessions for families who may be needing additional support, and that's happening up at the Grove. The ministry, again with Open Parachute, has put together a lot of family resources, and so we're looking at putting that information together to send out and share with families, as well as Open Parachute. And then the Language Matters that I think we shared here last year with the board, they've now done a second one that is specifically for families. So the one that we shared here last year was really supporting the system, and this one is really supporting families. And we're also seeing an increase in supports and resources around substance use. It's definitely a key part of our ministry information, is that thinking about and supporting proactively any work we can do around substance and substance use. And another focus, I think, just as Anne was sharing the connection with Nourish Cowichan and the other groups that come alongside, we're continuing building our partnerships. And so what that looks like, again, with our ICY team, looking at how we're connecting with that team to community. We're also looking at building and increasing our connections with Island Health through Healthy Schools, and that work that's happening. They're supporting some of the professional learning we're doing with the PHE teachers, also helping to collate and support resources so we have equitable access. Working with VIU and their nursing students to see if we can re-envision that work and have that work maybe look different or support students and staff in different ways. And something we're really excited that we're going to be sharing with the IEC tomorrow is through ICY we were able to secure training. It's called SPACE training, and it's sought after out in the world. I didn't know what it was, but it's supporting families around anxiety. And so we know we have a lot of students with anxiety, we have families that have anxiety, and so this training provides counselors and others the resources to be able to support that. And so we are going to be able to invite up to 25 members of our community. We're calling them sister agencies. So this will go to IEC tomorrow to say that we would like to invite them to come alongside our district counselors, our clinical counselors through our ICY team, and our community partners to be part of this training. And our dream, like down the road, is that we would be able to have a group that was running all the time in different areas in the valley that might be co-led by different parts of the community. So perhaps it would be a sister agency with one of our CCs leading, or it could be a counselor or whoever, but that we would have some continuity of service for families happening all the time through a shared and integrated approach. We're looking at hosting a before training, get to know you, and a post training, what do you think, what's next? So when we look at building partnerships, it's that lens of we're better when everyone is in this work together to support our students and families. And that's it, and I'm happy to take questions.
Trustee Lise.
Love it. A couple of things. The making connections and working with community. I know Jeff Rowan is a part of the Youth at Home team, Cowichan Youth at Home, and we're doing a lot of work. But coming up on October 28th, we're actually hosting an evening event called Better Together. And it's all around bringing parents and young people to have discussions about all the things that we just talked about. And so there's a lot going on in community and a lot going on here. So being able to pair and make the connections would be fabulous. And if I may, we will be sending out invitations, or if they haven't already gone out, for promotion within the schools to get parents and young people talking about all the things you just shared.
That'd be great, because our family support worker and our peer support workers could definitely share that information, because they're connecting with youth up to age 19. Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions, trustees? Thank you for a great, full of information presentation. That was wonderful. Thank
We're
you.
taking up for being late.
Excellent, thank you. Just before I move on here, I just want to thank our district principals through the Learning Services team for sharing and bringing a vast amount of information and richness to our discussion, so thank you. Next item here, foundation skills assessments. These are being administered in schools they're underway now, but between October 1st and November 10th of this year. And in your package on pages 24 to 26, you've got highlights for Ready, Set, Learn events, out of school care program updates. We have a photo here of Strong Start programming, so there's a poster on that, and also Roots of Empathy. So lots of great work is happening in the early learning area as well. So please have a look at those. Move us on here, superintendent's updates, just an acknowledgement and appreciation for those who were involved in organizing the September 22nd non-instructional day. It was co-created with a number of Indigenous and non-Indigenous staff. The lead organizers, content developers were Nicole Boucher, Tammy Renyard, Ann Kissinger, Mary Peter, Hannah Morales, and Kara Joyce, as well as Glenn Posey and the tech team for ensuring that everything was running smoothly that day. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. I SEPCA to all a fantastic day. So we have a poster as well for the September 22nd non-instructional day. The theme for the day was We Paddled Together, and the day featured keynote speaker Nagan Sinclair, followed by a student panel at Cowichan Secondary. Staff participated in a variety of workshops, both school-based and community-focused, on Indigenous brilliance in the afternoon. And again, thank you to all those that organized the day. Provincial assessments, literacy and numeracy, grade 10 and 12 assessments. These are taking place November 3rd through the 7th this year. Winter assessments are January 12th to the 23rd. Spring assessments are April 20th to the 24th, and June assessments are June 8th through the 19th. So we look forward to receiving results on those assessments. District learning inventories, reading, writing, and numeracy, and the collection of grades K through 9 data in the fall is intended to be used at the class level, within the schools, and district level to inform future directions. And the information is important and necessary to support actions on our strategic plan and how we can best, as Assistant Superintendent Owen spoke about, develop our operational plan and next step strategies. So as was shared, layering on rather than adding on. Parent Mother Goose, another poster here. Parent Mother Goose is a free, magical 8 to 10 week group experience for babies, young children, 0 to 2 years old, and their parents and caregivers, and it's a well recognized and respected oral language program that returns to tradition by using rhyme, song, storytelling as a base for enriching parent-child lives and relationships. No toys, just parents and child having fun and interacting together. Terry Fox Run, we have photos. So there were many events. I would suggest probably every school was involved. Recently raising money for cancer research. So we're sharing photos of the Terry Fox Run fundraising activities held at Lake Cowichan, Quamachin, Alexander, Tanzer, Ecole Mount Provo, Coheman, Shemena Secondary, and Crofton schools. Discovery Elementary did a big lead up to Terry Fox, and on September 25th, school district complex staff cheered on as Alexander, Quamachin, and students took a banner over to Cowichan Secondary to participate in the Tri-School Terry Fox Relay event. And our resident triathlete was trying to keep up with the banner bearer. as he took off in full sprint down the road.
And how did you do, Superintendent?
I was bringing up the rear. Great day, though. Shemena Secondary celebrated surpassing their fundraising goal with one brave teacher and 2 spirited teachers shaving their heads in front of the school. And Crofton Elementary almost doubled their donation goal, and as a result, Ms. Campbell and Ms. Merritt were covered in toilet paper. Ms. Merritt and Ms. Ward took a pie in the face, and Ms. Merritt cut 40 centimeters of hair to donate to wigs for kids in BC. So congratulations to everybody, and thank you for their participation in this great event. Okay, yeah, lots happening there. The great BC Shakeout Earthquake Drill will be October 16th at 10:16 a.m. Many of our schools and the school district office / complex will be participating in the Great BC Shakeout Earthquake Drill at 10:16 a.m. again on October 16th. Some of the schools will be participating in other events on this day. Bench, Discovery, Cowson Secondary, Coheman, and Chemainus Elementary. And Cops for Cancer, Tour de Rock. There's a photo of this event. Fantastic to see them coming through. So the Tour de Rock riders stopped at some of our schools as they traveled through Chemainus, Lake Cowichan, Duncan, Shawnigan, and Mill Bay. The riders stopped or did a ride-by at Chemainus Elementary, Cowichan Secondary, Cole Cobble Hill, and Discovery Elementary. And Discovery Elementary parent was one of the riders, and 3 of their kids attend Discovery. It was extremely nice to have them come through and to be able to support that event. National Fire Prevention Week, October 5th through the 11th. Fire Prevention Week seeks to spread awareness about fire safety. The theme this year is Charge into Fire Safety. And lithium-ion batteries in our home works to educate everyone about using these batteries safely. Campaign stresses how important it is to buy, charge, and recycle safely when it comes to lithium-ion batteries. A couple of examples of what's being done in our district. Paulson Elementary started this week with fire prevention assembly with a guest firefighter and Sparky the firehouse mascot. Students are having a coloring contest with some fun prizes awarded at the end of the week by Sparky. Students learn about ways to be safe around fire and at home, or at home, and review what to do in case of a fire at school. And they also created a plan with families to help with a safe escape planning in case a fire does occur in their home. School also helped support the project. It was led by the Lake Cowichan Fire Department, providing fire detectors to families who need it at no cost for them, and they make sure that the message about this initiative gets out to all Paulson families. And then Alex Aiken Elementary partaking in fire prevention and having the North Cowichan firefighters and truck come to the school for the morning to learn about fire prevention and see and investigate a fire truck. Another event through the month of October. This October marks the 35th Foster Family Month in British Columbia. It's the first proclaimed by the province of British Columbia in 1990. Some members of our community have been foster parents for many years, and some are brand new. All are critically important to the health and safety of our province's most vulnerable children, and we recognize and honor these incredible foster caregivers in our community and their dedication to improving the lives of those children who need them. October is also recognized as Dyslexia Awareness Month. October 2025 is the 8th annual Dyslexia Awareness Month, which our schools recognize in many different ways. And we also have 2 schools who are participating in the 2025-26 Health Canada Student Alcohol and Drug Survey. Alex Aiken Elementary and Chemainus Secondary School have been randomly selected for participation in this Canadian Student Alcohol and Drug Survey, which will be administered on behalf of Health Canada to sample students in grades 7 through 12, and the survey is being conducted biannually for the past 2 decades. Chimena Secondary, land-based Indigenous education, and there's some photos here. On Thursday, September 25th, students from Chimena Secondary School joined Brad Thorne and Johnny Sylvester of the Cowichan Tribes Fisheries team for a spearfishing experience at Cowichan Secondary. Thank you, Cowichan River. Students learned about traditional spearfishing, and we heard this from District Principal Peter. And Brad and Johnny gifted a large Chinook salmon for the traditional foods feast at a day of teachings gathering that happened at Chimena Secondary School. So everything's tying back together. So the day of teachings, we've already seen photos from that. Fantastic events happening throughout our district. And Cowichan Secondary School, really important here with photos. A new tradition was being started. Cowichan Secondary started a new tradition in the interest of community building, and their grade 12 students were invited to come at 6 a.m., watch the sunrise on their first day of their last school year. They played games, painted faces, signed T-shirts, and were treated to delicious pancakes, cooked up and served by Trustee Schmidt, Doman, and Lise. There may have been others, but thank you for coming out.
Superintendent.
Principal Scott Jackson, myself, and Assistant Superintendent Rowan, who was in charge of quality control. I'm not sure how
It was
that
very difficult with this group.
It was very difficult. They were not following instructions well.
So many QSS staff organized this event and supported it, and they estimated about 125 of the graduating students woke up before the sunrise to join them in kicking off the year right. So fantastic day.
It was a wonderful night.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was nighttime when we got there.
Coheman Elementary had a welcome back barbecue on September 25th, and to meet staff and share in a barbecue. And Bench Elementary Health Fair for Parents, also September 25th, hosted a health fair for parents. It was an opportunity for parents to connect with health professionals that may assist with family needs. Mental health in schools grants. The school district will be receiving a mental health in schools grant in the amount of $52,000 to support mental health and well-being in our school community for the 25-26 school year. The intention of the grant funding is to address current priorities, including mandatory availability of naloxone in every school, and the recommendations from the recent coroner's inquest to implement dynamic and inclusive substance use education programs that reflect student needs and leverage both digital platform and personal narratives. Obviously another great initiative, and we're appreciative of the grant money. Vista Fall Meeting, so as trustees are aware, October 3rd and 4th, so this past weekend attended in Campbell River, along with a number of trustees, and the theme for this year's gathering was Journeys to Success. Next week, the BC School Superintendents Association Island Chapter Meeting is being held in Victoria on October 16th and 17th. And you have on page 27 of your agenda package just a schedule of superintendent's school visits that are planned for this fall. And I believe that that's the end of my report, and we're going to board action. Thank you.
All right, trustees. Superintendent, actually, this is still you. Are you going to talk trustees through this?
For the district's literacy professional learning plan, yes, and I believe that Assistant Superintendent Reynolds will speak to this. Thank you.
And as I'm moving over there, I will say, if you hear Tammy or anyone say, I've got Darlene's voice in my head, it means it's something I've nagged about. A true story.
True story.
I'm supporting during work.
Oh, thank you. That's driving me crazy.
I would say the other piece is what I recognize from listening to all the information you've received this evening. I would say that my heart is full with the things that are happening in our schools with Truth and Reconciliation Day. Mary, hi Chip, for sharing those. But maybe my stomach's getting a little bit hungry from all the pictures of salmon and fried bread. I don't know that was very nice this time of day. I know that in your packet, you already have a copy of our literacy plan. So I didn't think you needed me to read to you all the words in the literacy plan, but I thought I'd share a little bit of the story behind how that plan emerged and what our hopes are for the plan. And then, of course, to answer your questions, which you always have good ones. And Morris, I'm surprised he's letting me touch this because he's seen my technology issues for the past, I did that. Okay, I don't think we can begin a conversation around our literacy plan and in-service and the work that we're doing with our educators without actually beginning with our truth. I was here a few weeks ago when you as a board really stood and heard and saw and received our data with our FSA assessments that continue to indicate that our students, especially our priority learners, have gaps in their achievement from the all group, and we're not achieving where we want to be. And I remember on that evening thinking, I hope I get a chance to tell you some of the things that we're going to do to try to make a difference to impact that. So I'm kind of taking this opportunity to build that bridge from the evening that you got that data to really sharing with you how we hope to support all of our learners, but especially our priority learners. The data that you looked at in the previous slide did indicate that our priority learners are Indigenous students, children, youth in care, and students with designations. There is a greater gap in their achievement than in our all groups. So part of the plan with the literacy, the grant that we have from the ministry, is to specifically do things that will accelerate their learning. I'm not doing this because the grant says I have to, but the grant does say we have to. Acknowledge that our Ministry of Education and Child Care has provided us a grant to improve literacy in our district. This is part of a $30 million grant or $30 million investment across the province. In our district, we have $225,000 to invest in our educators. That's not the exact dollar amount, but Jason probably has it. It's pretty close. To invest in our educators this year and next year to really ensure that we're equipped and ready to impact our students' reading and literacy achievement. Part of that is our ministry is doing work that's going to pull us together provincially. You know that we've done a lot of this work in our district already, so I thought I'd share where we're bridging those pieces. Our ministry is now identifying that all students across our province, kindergarten to grade 3, will be participate in reading or literacy screening 3 times per year. We as a district are extremely fortunate that we have those pieces in place. The ministry has, though, identified specific criteria for each grade level. So there are areas where we're going to have to go back, tweak, make sure that our assessments do align with what the ministry is now expecting of us. We really have minimal changes to make, but we will be doing that over the years that they roll it out. The other exciting news, and the first time I heard it, I thought somebody made a mistake, so I didn't believe them. So I waited till I heard it the second time, so now I believe them. I've actually heard it like 5 times. Our province is going to be investing the next few years in building a screener that we will all be using province-wide. So rather than us making any major changes to our assessments, we want to do what we need to make sure that we align with their criteria, but keep it as close as possible to what our teachers already know, knowing that a few years down the road, we'll be moving to what the ministry provides. We've been able to start hearing feedback and give feedback to the ministry of some of our concerns and cautions related to that, but more to come as that emerges. Tammy mentioned that part of the language and coaching and really hope that we do as a team for our teachers is always building a bridge from anything that we're doing to what they're already doing. So it isn't that constant change. We're doing this and now we're doing this, but to really let them see those alignment pieces. So the ministry has put out learning progressions that reflect the 5 critical areas of teaching of reading. We are with intentionality drawing the bridge for our educators so they can see what the ministry has put out directly aligns with our literacy framework. So on this side is the ministry piece. We have it for each of our grade levels, sort of a scope and sequence. We've made sure that our pieces do align with what the ministry said. And we also, while they're K-4, we go all the way K-12. So even our secondary schools have this information that they can be using to support learners. Fast forward past that. As part of the grant, these are the key elements. Like Jason highlights for us, sometimes we have funds that come into our budget, but they're very specific on what we can utilize them for. So it's not that we can hire extra staff members or things with this grant. It's specifically for in-service for educators. So the plan that you have in your packet does reflect that. When we were thinking about how to develop the plan, we really wanted it to be systematic, because in order for these funds to have long-term lasting effect, there has to be a system or a method of behind our madness to deliver that in-service. So we're really grounding our plan around the multi-tiered system of support, which is in our framework. It's work that we're doing, but we're ensuring that our system, kindergarten through grade 12, every educator is equipped with the skills they need to support our learners, both in that tier 1, good, rich classroom, engaging instruction, and the targeted interventions they need, whether a student is in grade 3, 5, 10, or 12. And I know that many of you have stories of young adults who are identifying that they're dyslexic or have learning disabilities. The really beautiful part of multi-tiered systems of support, when they're put into place really deeply and richly, is they proactively allow us to address those needs so that we're not in grades 10 and 12 or later identifying those reading challenges. A little bit of hard work in there too, right? Another component of the plan that we needed to provide for the ministry is how did we get here? How did we engage our community to develop this plan? So I want to just give you a quick highlight. Of course, we have a couple years of street data that we already had. In addition to that, last April, when we had our non-instructional day, we provided every educator an opportunity to give us feedback in a open way, anonymous, to say, what is it that you need to feel equipped, empowered to teach reading, to teach the literacy skills, and what strategies and approaches have worked for you. So we gathered that information. The other thing that we invested in last spring, and I'm hoping Anne remembers, and Avdesh and folks that were part of these conversations, we recognize that some of our schools represent a significant number of our priority learners. We want to make sure that whatever we design is with intentionality, lifting up those schools. They're doing extra hard work to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our highest priority learners. We owe it to them to invest in them as educators. So we sat with each one of these schools and really heard specifically what they need. In every layer of this plan, whether it's an in-service opportunity like the one we had in August, or if it's some of the resources we're allocating, our focus schools, the schools that represent our priority learners, have an increased representation. Increased resources, increased participation in in-service, every place where we can really infuse, again, holding them up, lifting them up, acknowledging the work that they're doing. Also, Superintendent Davey gave us the opportunity last spring to share with our Indigenous Education Council that these funds have been provided to us, an overview of the purpose of it, and to also open for their feedback and invitation to share ideas and insights for that. I figured it out by myself. They're working on my independence with computers and technology this week. I just wanted to get some highlights of the plan. First, beginning on October 14th, we are going to begin inviting I'm so excited, sorry, every kindergarten to grade 3 teacher in this district to spend a half day with us to start with around high quality, engaging teaching of reading. And what our teachers said in that survey was, we believe you, we get that this is important, give us the real practical, tangible things to do. So one of the resources they're getting, this is a surprise, so don't tell them, even though this is a public meeting, they're getting a book for all of our schools that is about a literacy block and what does that look like and how to bring it to life in your classrooms. And they're in service that day will model having stations to move around and do different parts of reading instruction and practice. So we're really excited about beginning that journey. We are going to bring our kindergarten teachers in last out of that group because they are welcoming some pretty young ones in our schools, and we want to give them time to let those children get settled before we bring their teachers together. But we're really excited. Every K-3 teacher. One thing that we're developing this winter for our administrators and maybe even for senior management who are spending more time in classrooms this year is a little bit of a guiding document that would help us know what it should look like, feel like, sound like to be in a really good literacy instruction classroom, so that when our administrators are in classrooms, they can be really engaged as instructional leaders with our teachers. So that's going to be another piece that we roll out. If you notice, our K-12 learning assistants resource teachers, every one of them getting direct in-service. So our union partners really appreciate the fact that we're investing in service where our teachers are going to be during their workday getting this information and opportunity to learn together. We'll be getting information on good, impactful interventions and progress monitoring tools. You guys are being really not asking any questions as we go.
Superintendent Reynolds, can I get you to pause for just 2 moments? Trustees, Policy 7 is kicking in right now, and I need to put a motion on the floor before Superintendent Reynolds continues, that the Board of Education of School District 79 Cowichan Valley extends the open board meeting of October 7th, 2025 beyond 6 p.m. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Lizzie. All those in favor? Thank you.
I thought Policy 7 was going to be that we all got to wiggle and stand.
We wish.
You heard that.
See, when people come to present to us, that it should be a physical component, right?
Yeah.
You can all wave at me. Just wiggle in. Yeah, I'm not doing any dancing for you, sorry. Another piece that's really proven to be impactful in our schools and that we want to bring along in our literacy in-service plan, we have literacy leads in every single one of our buildings. This really came from lessons I learned as a school-based administrator. When you go in as a school-based administrator, they're either going to nod or shake their head at me, we'll see. It's really hard to do the leading all by yourself when you're trying to facilitate and initiate change and really inspire a team within your school. But when you have some teachers, some teacher leaders that do that work with you, it's amazing the impact it can have. And we want to honor our teachers that make that investment in that leadership piece. So we're going to be running a series, ironically, I didn't steal it from you, I'll prove in a second, be running a series here this year. It's called Better Together. And it's really combining the work around the teaching of literacy and reading with professional learning community structures, which you all know we've been investing in for the last several years to really make those strengthened in our schools. So that's going to be that's part of the plan that you've probably already read. Support staff, whether it's our Indigenous support workers, Indigenous education teachers, our QP members, all will be invited to do in-service opportunities or professional learning that aligns their job description. In my conversations with our district principal of Indigenous education, Mary Peter, I always talk to her about we're here, we want to be available, and we don't infuse upon ourselves upon them. that we want to be respectful, be invited in, and also to be very honoring of their job descriptions and the work that they're doing with our students. I know when you like it when I come, if I give you sneak peeks of things that are coming. So these are things we're really excited about. Great feedback and response from the system who's heard about it. I really appreciate when they nod, so it makes sure that I'm not misunderstanding things. I mentioned the Better Together. That will be a really impactful series that we'll do. There'll be a dinner series with our elementary administrators and teacher leaders. Secondary is going to have department heads with Assistant Superintendent Rowan and District Principal Tammy Renyard working with priority learners and literacy in those settings as well. We have Read 180, which is a new reading intervention. You've probably heard me the last few years mention Lexia, which is a computer-assisted literacy reading intervention program. We found really good uptake and impact up to grade 4 with that. But part of this journey is always saying what's working, what's not working, and making changes. So we really didn't find that that was having the impact we hoped for in our secondary schools and beyond grade 5 or 6. So we're investing this year in Read 180. We invited our schools to do an expression of interest because we wanted to make sure they were willing to make the commitment of time and staffing to implement this with fidelity. So we have 10 schools that are going to be piloting, 5 students in each school. So we're going to have 50 students this year that are going to get the targeted reading intervention through the Read 180 platform. So we're really excited about that. And then we'll be checking to see if it has the impact we hope for, and if it doesn't, we'll reevaluate and continue to look for those interventions that do make the change that we want for our learners. Again, this is all so much more proactive than what we would have been doing 5, 10, 15 years ago. The other piece is we recognize, again, through some of that survey and feedback from our teachers, that we needed more work and in-service and understanding and tools related to progress monitoring. So when we work with a learner that needs targeted extra support, we actually want to see if what we're doing is making a difference or not. So that's called progress monitoring. So if I'm doing intervention, and I'm going to pick on Jeff again because we've been having this conversation since 7:30 this morning, if we have those reading challenges or barriers and we're doing the intervention, then I'm going to every 3 to 6 weeks check back in on where Jeff's needs are and see if we're closing those gaps. And I think we have how many licenses? 450 licenses. I'm going to circle you back to that data on the first slide where we recognize our grade 7 students. So we're investing a lot of that, those subscription or those pieces in our grades 6, 5, and 6, so we can really proactively catch our learners and make an impact so that a couple of years we'll really see those outcomes begin to shift and change. Again, I bet you guys all know which schools are getting a few more licenses than others. Guesses? Oh, schools. Thank you, Superintendent Davey. So that'll be part of the training that is occurring with our learning assistance resource teachers. Other parts of the plan that you have is a more detailed outline of the timeline. These are all exactly the pieces the ministry asked in our plan. I tried to be very attentive to answering their questions. Like I didn't put a lot of extra graphics and things in that are in our FESL, but worked to answer the questions, which helps keep this as a clear, succinct plan for us to implement. So you saw the pieces for 25, 26, something new that we'll roll out next August. Sustainability is key, being able to maintain this work. So with our new teachers that will be arriving and joining us next fall, we're going to do an in-service in August where they will be paid for the day prior to school starting. So when they walk into their classrooms after Labor Day, they've already been introduced to the instructional strategies and universal screener pieces that we have. So we can make sure that each new teacher, as they come to join us, is walking into the classrooms with the same confidence that we're working to instill this year. And I started to put periods after this because literally that first one, our outcome is the increase in our student literacy. Like that is the focus. That is the work that we're going to be working very deeply and heavily on this year. Most of that 225,000, I know that Jason's probably going to flinch when I say this. Our goal is to spend a pretty big chunk this year because that money sitting in the bank doesn't have the impact we want for students. So we're going to get that in service. I think our student achievement coordinators are a little bit wondering what I signed them up for. They're meeting with all these teachers over the next 6 weeks. It's almost like every day we have it in service where we're bringing teachers together to do this work. The next one I think is really important, and that one, if I was going to put a heart beside it or an exclamation point, is that accelerated achievement for our priority learners. It's just raising achievement for all learners actually isn't what our goal is. That's a big part of our goal. But accelerating the learning of our priority learners so that we close the gap and they go on the journey with us is really important. And that's why we're making those really stronger investment in some of our focus schools. And then we know that literacy will impact graduation rates and that all of these areas of data for our system will be impacted by this work. I finished the plan and reports that you have in your packet. And I stated as some research that I did in a former life in a different job. But when we were working with change and influencing change in systems, was recognizing when do educators make those changes? And it's a couple of things. One is when they believe that what they're going to do has a positive impact on their learners, and they believe they have the capacity to do it. So if they can believe something will be a positive impact to learners, and if it feels beyond what they can do, beyond what they can manage, they won't move forward with that change. So what we hope is with this in-service model and the work that we're going to do is really empower them. I know that they believe in the work, they're doing the work, but really strengthening their belief in their own efficacy and their ability to impact this change.
Trustees, questions? Trustee Croft.
I can understand this is very deep, and I know it's a strategic, but in a way it's kind of an organic thing. Learning to read is a very deep-seated kind of activity for the instructor and for the student. Have you thought about what kind of data you want to see next year? Do you want,
Yes, and probably some of that conversation would be better over coffee because there's a lot of research for about 40 to 60% of our learners, they do and can master reading through some of those more organic strategies. But especially our learners that come from low socioeconomic families, without direct explicit instruction, they're not going to unlock the code. So in order to do this work and have the impact of change, and if you look at our data, that 60% of students who would likely become an independent reader, we're really not doing much better than that. So what we need to do as a system now is strengthen that piece and add in some of the explicit instructional pieces that we need, as well as the intervention when students aren't mastering it. So the data will show is going to be our district literacy screeners. You know, our schools have done a beautiful job of sharing that when they come to tell their story. We knew early on, one of the first conversations I had with Danny Morrow, who was principal at Alexander at the time, when I first arrived, she's like, Darlene, our students have a long way to go before they're going to show proficient on FSAs. And that's part of the truth that we had to acknowledge. And what you're seeing from our schools is they're making impact. They're changing students' achievement. They're growing in their literacy skills, but not in a way that's fast enough quite yet to get to those achievement on FSAs because we've got so far to go. So our data will be our district screeners, our dashboards. We will continue to be monitoring that and reflecting part of the changes and modifications in this plan. Like you said, there's an organic piece to this, is adjusting based on the data we see from our schools.
Yes. I just wanted to say that I'm really, well, I can't say impressed because I'm always impressed with with all the things that we do in this district and our amazing staff. But I just wanted to share that from your written report and your verbal presentation, I just feel that we have a great deal of faith in the folks who are undertaking this. I know that it's a really special and it's a really I think it's a burden to know that we have quite a bit of ways to go, and I want to respect that you're carrying that with care and skill and intelligence and strategy. And I have every faith that we're going to see some big differences, and that our students will soon feel very comfortable with the book in front of them.
Any other questions, trustees? Trustee Dillman?
Another question. I like your enthusiasm on this. I think this will work.
I would like to say thank you. Obviously, you heard me at BEBC when I saw that report, and my knee jerk was, it doesn't matter what the provincial average is, what matters is what's happening here at Cowichan. And this presentation gives me hope that our priority learners are going to be okay. They are very near and dear to me, as you know, and you hear it often, you know, priority learners, but I think that in all the years that I've sat at this table, I truly believe that this next step gives me hope for those kids that they're going to be okay. So thank you for your time and your presentation.
If I could just add one thing, and it's a bit of response through the chair.
Sure.
Very fast. We as a district have been filmed last year through PopFast, so we will be a video that is shared provincially as part of their resources. Part of that story that is so important and is acknowledged in that video is all of you. I've never worked in a district where this work has come to life from the classroom level with our teachers all the way through our board of trustees. And I think that's what's going to have the impact that we're hoping for this. So I raise my hand to all of you and say hi, Sonia. Thank you.
Well, trustees, we have a motion before us. Look at everybody's faces. That's very sweet. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley accepts the school district literacy professional learning plan as presented. Moved by trustee Kraft, seconded by trustee Lizet. All those in favor? Thank you. Secretary Treasurer. That's like a please.
I'm going to take a very quick break. I'm sorry. I don't
Yes,
need to be back.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh,
No, raise your
Can't
hand.
hold it anymore. Thankfully, there's two.
yeah, Treasurer, do you mind if we push pause for a moment? Okay. We'll get back to it then. So Secretary Treasurer, 9.1.1. Trustee Gilman, 9.1.1.
9.1.1 enrollment, we've been tracking enrollment as it's measured on September 29th. That is the date that the funding will be calculated on. We have a 2-week period after that to fully reconcile the enrollment. So there are often times when a student has been claimed in one school district and in another school district, maybe in transitions, so some of those fine-tuning items are still to happen. Looking at the elementary enrollment, last year there were 4,800 learners even. We had projected 4,697 and come in right now at 4,665. So down 135 elementary year over year and down 32 from projection. Looking at secondary, which includes Quamachan, we had projected 3,016.58 because now the 10, 11s, and 12s are recorded on a course level. And we came in at 3,054.91. So actually a bit higher. We're 38.33 FTE up over projection and 5.59 over the prior year. We're hearing that there are students re-engaging at Cowichan that had not been in the system for a while with the new school. So I suspect those are students that weren't in our cohort as we looked at the number of 9s that could potentially have been going into Cowichan. So that one is actually makes up for the elementary reduction. And then we see some drop at CVOLC, which could also be Cowichan retaining students. We see DL almost right on, and Open School a little bit under, but Open School has a tuition component with it, and so there'll be reduced costs associated with that. So overall, right now, we see the enrollment being down 156.97 from last year, or 20.54 off projections. So actually feeling pretty good about the projection overall on the enrollment. We don't have a crystal ball, and we do our best. But what this really says, is that our assumptions that we used were true for this year. So I'll take that forward to the grant estimate. So in March, the board receives an estimate based on the enrollment that was submitted in February. I'm now estimating the grant based on what we saw on September 29th using the formula. So when we look at that, based on our regular September enrollment count, we were down about 20 FTE, and that's $205,288 that you see over in this column here on the difference. We're up substantially on students with designations over projection. Not up a lot over last year, but over what we thought we were going to be with the grade 12s leaving. The K numbers have come with designations that in a number that we haven't seen before. So that has created a lot of pressure, and normally would have generated close to $1.4 million in funding. But in funding protection, the funding protection is being repaid first. So overall, when we look at the grant, I expect it to be about $567,000 higher than what was projected in March. Okay, so I framed all of this because the next part is mask. But just before we ask for some additional education assistance out of the budget, wanted the board to see this quick chart I pulled together, just the population of the student population, percentage of the student population with fundable designations, so level 1, 2, or 3. There are students without fundable designations, but just the ones that generate the funding. You can see a significant increase since 2017, 2018. So this is really an indication of the complexities. So even though student numbers are dropping, the percentage of those students that has a designation is remaining pretty consistent over the last 4 years, much higher than if you go back even 5 years before that. 5.69% is now 7.81%. Quite a change, quite a shift. So just wanted to give you that perspective. It's in here twice, so we can keep going. If we reconcile the annual operating budget, it was adopted at $109 million in April. Restricted from the surplus that had rolled over that hadn't already been restricted within the 109 was an additional $1.7 million, and I'm estimating the grant to be $567,876, which kind of takes us to $111 million operating revenue. Expenditures that have been committed and may be committed at this meeting: Artists in Schools, the $10,000 makeup of the Art Starts program. And the second part is AED and naloxone, which is the next item on this agenda, $45,000 that BEBC has recommended. So that leaves $512,000 of the new funding available. We're looking to add 12 education assistant positions to meet the needs of those additional students. Now they're at 90% of the year, so the cost is 90% because it wouldn't be effective until October because we've already finished a month. So this is calculated on 90% for 12 positions. And with all of those additional designations, there's also a requirement for additional release time for teachers who work on the individual education plans. So there's two asks here that would draw down the surplus an additional $68,000 from $4.381 million to $4.31 million. I'm going to move now to back to the agenda.
So trustees, we have some motions here. The Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley amends the 2025-2026 annual operating budget to add 12 educational assistant positions at the cost of $556,200 and increase the individual education plan meeting release allocations by $25,000. Moved by Trustee Lise, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you. Yes.
I'm fine with the motion because I supported it, but it's more around the dramatic increase in designations. And I'm wondering, we don't have to get into it here, but can we hear back around why that's happened to that degree so between 2017 and today? As I say, we don't have to get into it now, but I'm really curious. I'd really like to know what's happening. Why the increase? And is it province-wide or is it like regional? Like,
It is province-wide that we're seeing it. However, yes, we can add this topic to our board planning session if you'd like.
yeah.
Okay, Superintendent? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sousa. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley amends the 2025-2026 budget to allocate $45,000 for the purchase of AEDs and naloxone for all schools in the district. Moved by Trustee Doman, seconded by Trustee Strachan. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. The next item I have here is for information. There may be a motion that the board wish to make to either refer it somewhere or to adopt it. We have done some work around policy 14, and policies do belong to the board and are adopted through board motion. Policy 14 updates school closure and consolidation, which is a policy that currently exists within the board's policy manual. What's happened is this policy has now been updated to include grade reconfiguration alongside school closures. It streamlines the consultation process by adopting a 60-day consultation window between January 1st and March 31st, adding predictability around decisions. It includes public engagement, which is consolidated into public meetings, written submissions, and removes the need for multiple forums in individual meetings. There's updated criteria, which now includes seismic safety, funding formula impacts, and community support. And there's clearer timelines having decision-making aligned with the school year, so implementation for June 30th, effective a decision finalized by March 31st. And it maintains all components necessary within the School Act. So it's here and proposed just to update the current school closure and consolidation policy.
Trustee questions? Trustee Sousa.
Thank you. Yes, I totally recognize the need to streamline the policy to make it clear and to add, of course, that really important piece around grade configuration. That's not a question. I'm not prepared to support this draft at this time. I think it needs to be referred. I've got a bunch of questions. I think more thought needs to be sort of placed into this. I'd love to know what our education partners think of this revised policy. 60 days beginning on January 1st, which may or may not land during the holiday period as well, is not enough time. 90 is maybe too much, but 60 I don't think is enough, especially when you consider that's like, it's not stipulated, but I would imagine that's calendar days and not business days. So I just don't think it's enough time. I also, it's not clear where the link is between when the announcement is made to close a school or reconfigure a grade versus like when the public consultation period begins, like kind of backcasting from January 1st. And when the board will be apprised of it. It feels, given the sensitivity of the topic, like it just feels, and I get it, most policies are like this, it's very transactional. And I think though, given that this is dealing with school closures and or dealing with grade reconfiguration, it's an emotional topic, or it can be, in the community, affecting not just children, but their parents, the community at large. And what I would love to see is more sensitive language in the policy around this as well. And it's very transactional. I don't mean overly criticize, but I just think we need to have more sensitivity, more compassion, language that actually, a more sensitive approach in the language of the policy. So that's my feedback, and as such, I can't really support it.
So there is no motion, Trustee Sousa, and as the Secretary Treasurer said, this is just the starting place, and that's up to the board to state where this goes from here. So everything that you said, well, we are not there yet to oppose or to allow, because we need to start the conversation. And so that's why it's starting here today, because it's policy. So it needs to be here in an open forum, and it's up to the board as to where we go now. Would you like to take policy 14 draft to go smash it around at a board planning session? Would you like it? Would you like to have a separate board meeting to do it, and then maybe refer it off to advisory? You know, this is the time now where we talk about what we want to do with this and where do we want to take it first.
Okay. I misunderstood. I saw it as board action, sorry to interrupt. So I thought that there was like a motion on the table. Okay, gotcha.
Well, there is. There's going to be a motion once somebody decides what we're going to do with it. Yeah. Trustee Croft.
Yeah, I mean, I think clearly we need more time to take a look at it and to talk about it and, sort of, I have discovered lately that the word workshop is a verb, to workshop it. So, yeah, that's all true. The other, but the two questions I have is how does this slot in with our I'm sure there's some legislation around how school closures have to go. And how does it align, or should it align with any APs, right?
Secretary Treasurer.
It aligns with the School Act, and there wouldn't be a need for an AP. The process is pretty clearly set out by the board, and an AP is how to do something when staff are interpreting a policy and how to carry it out. So I think it stands alone as a policy.
So trustees, would you like to see this policy, draft policy, head off to board planning so we can maybe go and workshop it for a little bit? Yes? Okay, so we don't need a formal motion on the table. We just want to know where it's going from here so that we can make sure that this is taken care of, because it's been brought to our attention that reconfiguration was never a part of the policy. It was consolidation, and that's not, that's what we need. We need to update, so we are. So we will now take policy 14 and we'll put it on the next board planning, and then we'll send it off from there to where it needs to go.
I just want to preserve the thought that Eduardo shared about checking in with our educational partners. So this would be something that could go to the advisory table, and it'd be a great place
After
for
the board's done with
conversation.
it.
Yeah, along the road.
Perfect. All right, so as a superintendent, let's put that on the next board planning as well. Looks like that'll be a robust conversation. Excellent.
You know on about it. I didn't have to. I could have waited.
It's okay. Your passion is great. Thank you. Superintendent, board information, NPC.
Thank you. From the IEC, two updates, one from September 10th, the other from September 17th, 2025. So the Indigenous Education Council had two meetings. September 10th, minutes will be officially adopted at the October 8th IEC meeting, so tomorrow. Where 4 of 7 nations represented, plus the Cowichan Valley Métis Association and the Friendship Center. Mary Peter and Jason Sundquist spoke to Indigenous Education Department staffing and surplus dollars. The same individuals shared the Indigenous Education Council 2024-25 report. The IEC reviewed the draft terms of reference and the working group report. Mary Peter provided updated information to the IEC on the September 22nd non-instructional day theme. Assistant Superintendent Rowan presented the district framework for enhanced student learning reports. The draft report came to the board. And Mary Peter spoke to the consultation regarding activities and resources to honor National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And at the September 17th meeting, 6 of 7 nations were represented, plus the Cowichan Valley Métis Association. The IEC reviewed and gave approval in principle to the terms of reference. The IEC made recommendations to the district to apply unspent targeted Indigenous funding. Our education funds for 2024-25, and attached on page 46 of your agenda package is the Indigenous Education Council budget items for consideration. The IEC discussed future meeting dates, and their next meeting is held tomorrow, as I indicated, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock at Garrison Secondary School.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you.
All right, upcoming meet.
Quick question.
Sure.
I don't know if I've asked this before, but would it be possible for us to actually have a joint meeting with the IEC? It would be great to meet the IEC. Like, I don't know what that could look like, if it's a social or, I don't know. It's a bit of a...
Superintendent, you have asked.
Thank you.
Okay. Upcoming meeting schedule. Let's looks good. Does anybody see anything that may be missed? Hearing nothing? Excellent, no correspondence, no new business, question period, the gallery is gone and we have nobody online. Excellent, so motion to adjourn, please. Moved by trustee Doman, seconded by trustee Souza. All those in favor? Thank you.